Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good. All the things to you here on Tone. Today we have another great session of Tone Life. All things about Tone, beyond Tone, DeFi, GameFi, CFi, whatever fi you can ever call in up to your mind. Here we're talking about the present, the past, and the future of the ecosystem, and of course, far beyond. I have a very special guest today, just like always, Boinkers and TAC. Oh, wow. That is something special. GameFi, GameFi. They are surely connected, but how? Today we are going to find out. Let me please introduce the guests one by one, their journey, and then we move to the questions, straight to them. Marcella from Boinkers, I would love to give you an opportunity to speak first.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having us. My name is Marcelo or Marcello. I'm the head of community here at Boinkers. Hi, everybody. Yeah, no, thanks so much for being here. I'm really excited to dive into the topic. I think this is a great conversation, and I'm also joined by Fabrizio, who I'll let him introduce himself. But yeah, thanks so much for having us.
Quite excited to have you anyway. Fab, hi, how are you doing?
Hi guys, I'm doing well. Thanks Marcelo for the nice intro. So I'm coming from Boinkers. I'm head of biz dev of Boinkers, and very excited to be here with TAC guys.
Always been excited talking to Tax. Speaking of Ty, so hi, how are you doing?
Hey everyone. Yeah, thank you. Super excited about this live event. My name is Sahil and I work for TAC, which is a layer one blockchain with Ton adapter, which will enable Ethereum dApps to access all the Telegram's 950 million users. And yeah, super excited to be here with Tonstakers team and Bonker guys.
Even we are more than excited you are. So we're gonna speak about different kind of things today, both DeFi and GameFi. But I think we're gonna start the session with quite interesting topic, which is tone with the rest other chains. So I don't know if you guys heard of the news that right now Tone Chain is going to be the main chain for the Telegram, and also we are quite scaling for a while. But the question here is very open. Are we going to lead the way and be a part of the top three blockchains in the future? Or how do you see the chain future itself? So, hi, I will let you speak first, please.
Sure. I think Ton has a very unique architecture, especially with its integration with the Telegram's vast user base, which kind of position itself as one of the basically key player in the blockchain arena. And the good part is that since basically now Telegram allows only the Ton applications to basically for a mini app to use it, it furthers bring the Ton ecosystem to basically a high point, because in this case now all the applications which will be on the Telegram should use Ton network. And while there's lots of other key players which are like Ethereum, Solana, and lots of other emerging, I think Ton positions itself as a very key component in complete the chain ecosystem, especially for the Telegram use case, which is very huge. As 950 million users, and there's a tons of mini applications available for basically that is built on top of Ton.
Oh yeah, I see the future, and future is bright. Marcella, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say it's I'll say one thing in the industry that we're in, it's very unpredictable to know anything for sure. What I will say is I'm definitely a big fan of what Telegram and the Ton ecosystem has been building. I think that when it comes to accessibility, reaching a broader audience, and all of these beautiful things, Ton is perfectly set up for that. They already have nearly a billion users on Telegram to begin with. I think that the barrier of entry is very low when it comes to actually being able to use this blockchain compared to a lot of others. So I really think if everything is positioned accordingly and they execute correctly, then they definitely have a shot at being a top blockchain. But that's like I said, everything is totally unpredictable. It's hard to say what could happen. Something could change within a day within this industry, and everything goes sideways. So you guys know exactly how that works. So what I would say is I'm pretty optimistic. I'm hoping that they do. I'll get into it deeper within the AMA, but I definitely think that they're positioned very well to be a top blockchain. And if obviously if they execute the best way, then who knows, man? Maybe in a year we'll definitely see that. But I'm gonna be hopeful. I really think that this blockchain really offers something unique and really opens up the door to a lot of new people that could be exposed to this space that I think otherwise wouldn't be. So yeah, that's kind of my take on it.
You sound like a person and a man who has been part of the Web3 for a while. So, what is your journey starting with Tone? I'm really wondering to know more.
What is my journey with Ton?
Yeah, please.
Sure. I mean, I guess it's really interesting. I've been into space since 2017. First got into Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then up until recently, I started working in the industry around 2022. And then I kind of got exposed to acid games and Boinkers, which this was initially my first Ton project. We got in relatively early, I think, when we launched Boinkers in July, although I think we could have started a bit sooner. But yeah, that was kind of my introduction to the Ton space. It was really with this project. We initially had a mobile sports game called Beast League. That was doing very well, but the moment we saw headlines breaking out with Hamster Combat reaching 200 million users and things like that, we decided that it's important. We should probably do something with this Telegram thing. So that was actually my introduction to it. Thankfully, Fabrizio has been an incredible partner at the very beginning stages of Boinkers, as it was really just him and I, and then the founders, part of the team. Now, thankfully, we're a lot bigger. We work with a big marketing agency, but yeah, that was kind of my introduction to the space, and learned it very early on, and then we've been around ever since. As we're very big believers in what they're doing, and yeah, we're really excited. But yeah, that was kind of my introduction to Ton and how I kind of got here.
Big believers actually build big, and I also say that, always say that Web3 is built by dreamers for dreamers, by creators for creators. So speaking of creators and speaking of dreamers, do you think that actually Tone GameFi is capable to attract real gamers rather than airdrop hunters, even though they do matter? Me speaking about real gamers, I hope you do understand what I mean. So, Fab, what's your opinion on that matter?
Yeah, this will happen when we have much more good games, because actually we are just on Ton ecosystem on Telegram. We just have a few real games. I mean, I would say that Boink is a real game, is a social casino. So we are distributing fun to users. So our users, we have a lot of users. We are successful because they like to play with our games. So I don't see so many games out there. There are a couple of them that are very good quality. And as soon as we get more games, we'll be able to attract gamers and users that like to play from mobile games. So I see, yes, when we get more games, VR games, I think would be a success, and we'll be able to attract more gamers and less speculators and farmers.
But how about Blinkers? Do you expect any new game projects coming from your studio, guys? I see Marcelo is smiling like he's hiding something.
No comment. I will say that, we're being whoops. I will say that, I think with Acid Games or Acid Labs now, our official Web3 game studio, I will say that, we have plans to really do some incredible things. So we've already done something amazing with Boinkers, with over 12 million monthly active users, being the number one top grossing app right now on Telegram. I think we've already kind of dominated our little sector. And we're definitely keeping our eyes open for other objectives that we could do. So I'll leave it at that. I won't say anything else, but we're definitely open to expanding our horizons over the next little while. And there's nothing indefinite. There's a lot of plans being made and a lot of discussions being done behind closed doors right now. So we're deciding which direction to go, but anything's possible. I'll leave it at that.
Oh yeah, they're quietly cooking. Mark my words. Mark my words. So hi, how about your opinion? So, do you think actually that DeFi is connected to GameFi?
I think mostly yes. So, as someone who spent a lot of time understanding the user behavior, gamify on Ton is very refreshing. on the beginning we had lots of play to earn and lots of the hopping the stick types of games, but now I think there are lots of new games which allow users to basically play without even leaving the app, which is very good user experience. And on the other hand, we also have DeFi on Ton, which could potentially unlock lots of new things inside of the game as well. And this includes, for example, buying any new game skin or trading it directly on a protocol. So I think there's a huge link between the DeFi and GameFi. And since both of these mini apps could live inside of the Telegram itself, I think it could open a big good user experience between both of these cases, since the user doesn't really need to leave any other places and basically play their games directly inside of the Telegram and basically do all their DeFi activities as well. And this includes trading their game skins or even their own usernames and etc.
Speaking of the GameFi experience and other chains, so what is actually Tone role in multi-chain future from part of GameFi? Marcella, what do you think and what's your take?
Yeah, so I mean, I'll be very unfiltered for this question, or I'll just be transparent. I'll speak on my behalf at least. I think that I'm a big bull. I'm pretty as much as for myself building. We're building on Ton. I myself as an individual, I'm pretty chain agnostic. I believe that at the end of the day, especially like if you're building games or at the end of the day, the chain doesn't always matter because it really depends on the product that you're building. That being said, within the industry that we're in, the chain that you build does matter. And I do think, though, I really believe in a multi-chain future. I know that recently Ton had announced that they want to take kind of an exclusive route when it comes to Telegram. Personally, I'm not sure how I feel about that. I feel personally if they took more of a multi-chain approach or a bit more inclusive to other chains building on Telegram, I think that would be a bigger win for them because now you become the party host, right? You want to be the cool, you want to host the coolest party, you want everybody to come to you. And I think that sentiment is really how to win in this industry. Now, can we just win if Ton does their thing and build it exclusively on Telegram? I mean anything's possible, right? I think for sure. And I guess from a business perspective, it definitely makes sense that they want to kind of own the biggest share, if anything, or make sure that everybody's building on their chain as maybe a means of security or whatever it is. But yeah, I would kind of like to see a bit more inclusivity or a bit more open to a multi-chain future, as I think that I don't think it hurts to be able to build on Ton, but also maybe build on Sui or Solana or some of these other incredible chains that I think have incredible communities too. I personally feel like we're not being exposed to that as much if we're just closing the bottleneck to Ton. So that's my personal feel about it. I hopefully, maybe things might change, but I totally get why they might be doing it, and they probably think it's for the best of the future of Ton and all this stuff. So I support their decision, but I personally think, being a bit more multi-chain and inclusive to other chains as well to build alongside us would probably benefit everybody down the long run. So down the line. So yeah, those are some thoughts on my end, but yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Well, that's a good take, to be honest. And that's very important to be transparent with what you think and what you have in mind. This is actually one of the biggest values of Tone, the open network, where you can be anyone who you want to be, think however you want to, and build the way you want to. Speaking of building a multi chain future, so hi, what do you have to say?
I think I agree with lots of the point which Marcelo has mentioned it. Basically, uh, the multi-chain right now is a very hot topic in Web3 and crypto, and interoperability is more than just a buzzword. I think it is essential for the Web3's future itself. And Ton positioning itself as a key player is one of the most key movement here. Because from what I believe is Ton is not trying to replace Ethereum, Solana, or maybe any other key chains which are on the Web3 right now, but instead Thought is basically a complete different but key player on its own ecosystem, which is Telegram itself. For example, I see Ton potentially becoming the backbone of the decentralized identity system because of its integration with Telegram Telegram, which is already acting as an identity layer for millions of the other users. I think this is where Ton real value lies, and it is more than just a chain. It is more like an infrastructure. And the good part is, as I mentioned, Ton is not trying to compete head to head to Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche, or any other. Instead, the good part is Ton connects with their own ecosystem that is basically Telegram or Tonstaker or even TAC itself, which is a good part because from a developer perspective, Ton's cross-chain messaging protocol would stand out basically, and it would abstract the complexity of cross-chain transaction and also allow developers to focus on building a functionality rather than worrying about the multi-chain and also basically on which chains they had to build on and etc.
I appreciate your take and opinion on that as well. I mean, I really sometimes don't really want to care which chain I am on right now. What actually matters to me, again, speaking of my very personal experience, is what I'm actually doing and why I'm actually using it and what kind of experience am I having within that. Speaking of the new experience, what is the big unlock for Tom coming next? Is it domains, AI, or something else? Fab, I will let you speak here.
Yeah, I think it's DeFi. So what we have like here, is DeFi is the, I mean, today DeFi, so far the DeFi was, was not open to the mass adoption. So just imagine normal person from the street, he doesn't know anything about DeFi. And also because cannot access to it, if it's not well educated, is not a Web3 native person. So the fact to have a distribution channel like Telegram, it helps to DeFi to reach everybody that has Telegram in their phone, and so the phone in their pockets. So, and Tech here is playing a very important role because it's the pivot point between the five primitives, so the big capitals on AVM chain, and so it will connect the five capitals, so the five primitive with the retailers and distribution channel that is Telegram. So I think that's the biggest things coming on Telegram and on Ton this year.
Interesting point of view. How about you, Suhai? What do you think?
I think I might have lots of ideas about this topic, but I think right now Ton is pushing lots on the domains that is like Ton addresses and etc., which is quite good. But I think the real thing for Ton would be AI integration and decentralized finance. Ton architecture is built for speed, so it makes it quite ideal platform for DeFi applications which require real-time processing and low latency, which gets really interesting with the AI. So, as a liberal, I spend a lot of time studying the emerging technology, and I'm convinced that AI will be the Ton's biggest growth catalyst. But we are not talking about the basic AI models or chatbots. We are talking about the AI agents, which are integrated natively into the Ton ecosystem, which would enable a class of complete new decentralized application that can think, learn, or act autonomously. And I think this could be a very good fit for Ton because of its speed, scalability, on-chain storage solution, and even the real-time data processing. So technically, there would be lots of chat application that will live directly inside of Telegram that can act on their own. And I think Telegram or the Ton itself is the perfect place for these AI types of application. And right now we know that I think even on the Web 2 and Web 3, everything is about AI. So Ton positioning itself with millions of the user could basically be a secret weapon to basically bring all those users into a great new AI user experience.
Indeed, indeed. But is AI actually the future of Tom? Marcelo, what do you think?
I don't know. I would say though that, in the industry that we're in, the narrative shifts very quickly. And I think, having as an individual, as a team that really pivoted really quickly to jump on the Ton narrative when that was really hot, and I still think it is, but in the beginning it was everything you would see on your timeline. I think now for sure, it's Ton. If Ton wants to be relevant, it's their responsibility to kind of pivot to things that are also relevant outside of Ton. So I'm really hoping that AI for sure. I think that I can't get off of X without seeing anything about AI agents. It's all I'm seeing people talk about. I'd love to see what happens around that narrative or AI in general. I think AI is one of those narratives that isn't going away anytime soon. It's going to keep on growing, and this technology is going to keep on evolving. So I definitely think AI. And then I guess one other thing, but I also like Fabrizio's point on DeFi. I definitely agree. I think making it simple and accessible for a lot of users through Telegram makes absolute sense. But for my final point, I wanted to circle back even just to gaming. I think that I really like the question you said around games before, and we're in a really interesting time because we're starting to see some games, like shout out to games like Ton Battleground, which is an actual first-person shooter on Telegram. So for a long time, I think a lot of the games on Telegram were farming games, tapping games, those type of things. But now we're kind of seeing a higher level of complexity when it comes to the games, which I'm hoping to see more advanced games on Telegram that are more interactive. And if anything, it reminds me of like the early days of like iPhone apps. Remember how fun those were and how far we've come. So I kind of think of it that way, where I think what we saw before was maybe the early days of Telegram, and now the GameFi experience is evolving into something greater, because now we're starting to see titles that are doing something bigger than just the whole tapping thing, which now sets the bar higher for everyone else. It's like, okay, well, if this is the type of games that people are building, maybe we need to do something like that or better. So I'm really hoping that, as a gamer myself, I would love to see more interactive games on Telegram. I think for a long time, I kind of looked away until, obviously being involved with Boinkers, it is my job. So I'm fully involved with the Ton ecosystem. But if I'm being honest, if it was just for myself as a gamer, I probably wouldn't have touched a lot of Telegram games, because a lot of them are just farming games, right? So I'm looking for games that are a lot of fun, that I could play with my friends. And I think that now starting to see certain things, even Fab sent me this boxing game the other day, and I was actually pretty impressed. I'm like, yo, this looks really cool. And I think that that's something I'd like to see more, and I'm hoping that that's another big unlock for Ton that's next. Seeing really interactive, immersive games, I mean, on Telegram that anybody could play, and is just a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm kind of hoping that's what's next, because we're starting already to kind of see that.
All right. You also remind me about the Rasen Durov, Pavel Durov updates that he shared in his channel, that they're right now building the interesting platform for streaming, such as games and much more. So that's going to bring a lot of fun to ecosystem on Telegram as well. Speaking of Telegram, speaking on Ton, we are wrapping up the session, but these are very intriguing questions to ask anyone who's building on Ton right now, or will be, or is still early. Why Ton? Da-da-da-da. Good one, right? Have you ever thought about it? I mean, I'm asking myself sometimes a question. Why am I here right now? Why am I building? Am I doing it right? Could I make it better? Of course, I always do it nice. But, it's just a question that drives you crazy sometimes, or maybe drives you to be inspired by other people. So, Fab, why Tom? Why here right now?
Because of the distribution channel that is Telegram, that let us to connect to millions of users. So frankly speaking, other blockchain are really very hard time. Have been a very hard time for them the last year to get to million users, just because the blockchain and Web3 is not still user friendly, while Telegram it is. So everybody has Telegram, and everybody can access to it very very easy with their thumb. So that's why Ton is on Telegram. We are on Telegram, and we have to use Ton. That's the main reason. Very simple and straight.
That was indeed very simple, very straightforward. Suhail, what's your take on that?
I think for me, Ton is not just any other blockchain. It is basically a powerhouse on top of Telegram, which means, like Fab mentioned it, we have like a very instant distribution to nearly 1 billion users. And this is quite game changer for adoption. And It is also built for speed and dynamic sharding, so it handles millions of transactions per second. And I'm a developer, so as a developer, I go to the place where I can build fast with easy to use documentation and tools, and my app have innocently accessible to a massive user base. So I think this is one of the most huge point for me to build on Ton, and why I would recommend any other people to build on Ton.
Interesting thing, right? Marcelo, what's your point?
Yeah, well, I would have to totally agree with the gentleman here on stage. I think that like Fab said, distribution I think is number one. I think that accessibility is a very hot topic that we talk a lot about in Web3, and a question that I ask myself a lot. And I think there's nothing more accessible than something that people are already using. So there's already nearly a billion users. I think last time we checked, there's over 900 million on Telegram, which is insane, right? Considering we're maybe about 8, 9, 10 billion people on the planet. So let's say 10% of the world's population is all on one app. It makes absolute sense to kind of explore that. And I think that, you know, it's seamless for a lot of folks that maybe have never been introduced to cryptocurrency or to crypto or Web3 or anything within this world before. What's beautiful is that on a Telegram app, you already have your wallet integrated. You don't need to do anything. All you really need to do is connect it to any apps that you're using, which removes so many layers and so many steps when it comes to onboarding the masses, right? We talk about that a lot. How are we going to onboard the masses into Web3? I think we need to make it easy for them, right? Especially, crypto's already whoops, I did something on my screen. Yeah, no, crypto's already very complicated the way it is. Even as somebody who's crypto native, I can only imagine the hurdles that a regular person who's never heard of this stuff, what they have to do, what they have to Google, what prompts they have to type into ChatGPT just to understand what they're doing. And it's like, why do all that when we could just simplify it for the user that that anybody could use? And I think that if we're ever going to make crypto or Web3 mainstream, it has to be simple for my grandma to use, my neighbor, my niece. So I think that simplification is super important. Telegram has already done that. They already have an incredible base. And I think we're just leveraging that already. And I think at the end of the day, um, distribution is so important. You could sometimes build the best service, the best product, the best app, but if nobody even knows about it, nobody's going to use it. So it's really important to get in front of the right eyeballs, and Telegram has a lot of them. So I think when it comes to trying to build something sustainable or something meaningful, um, finding a distribution channel that will be able to get it in front of people also at the cost of which you do it is super important. And I think Telegram's a great outlet for that. So yeah, those are some thoughts on that. And I really think Telegram and Ton is a great funnel for a lot of attention. And yeah, those are my thoughts.
There is a lot of fun on Telegram and Tone as well. DeFi, GameFi, whatever fi you are on, you're still very early to join, explore the possibilities that are very unlimited here for you right now. Thank you for the session. It was very interesting to talk. Meanwhile, please feel free to explore the Telegram and Tone ecosystem, because if you are not joining right now, you might be crying and regretting later. Remember that. Have wonderful times, everyone. Thank you.